So, so hello and welcome to this fourth guided meditation on mindfulness of emotions. And what I'd like to start with today is using a kind of a analogy. We can say in English, we use a distinction between the words listening and hearing. Someone might direct you to listen to something, and then intentionally you turn your attention to listening to, or you can hear something without the intention to hear, and these two words overlap, but hearing is more likely used for something which is more receptive and maybe unintentional. We hear a sound, and then we're interested what is going on, and so we listen carefully. And the listening is the effort to be engaged. The same thing with seeing and looking. Someone might say see here, but if you're more, the usual instructions is to look. And so in the way I'm talking about it today, I'm trying to highlight the difference between two different ways of using our eyes to see. One is more a natural receptivity where we see what's happening without trying to see, and the other is seeing by trying to see, intentionally to look. And so when we practice meditation, both are activated and both are fine, but there is a kind of orientation or leaning towards the part that is more receptive, more not trying to make something happen. So if we're sensing the body breathing, if we're sensing the body sensations, the idea is to not be so much in the control tower trying to sense or making kind of extra mental effort to really feel well what's going on, but rather to put ourselves in a situation where we can really sense, receive in an open way the sensations. And so on this topic this week of emotions, in this way we want to receive the sensations, and a nice mode for being with our emotions is to listen to them. The way we would listen, not the way we would, the way we would, no, we would hear. We would hear them. We'd allow them to come. We wouldn't direct ourselves to kind of strain. There's no strain involved. It's just kind of allowing ourselves the emotions to be heard, to hear deeply. What's there? So I don't know if this distinction makes so much sense to all of you, but the idea of receptively being open and to hear, to listen to the emotions as if there's something profound to hear there. For some people, that gets their self-consciousness out of the way, their efforts to try to fix or make something happen out of the way. It's a way of allowing the emotion to be there, giving it permission to be there, while also being available to hear, to feel, to find out what's going on here in more deeply. So it'd be akin to sitting with a friend and who just wants to be heard. And you just are an active listener. You're present, hearing, allowing it to come, but you're not involved in trying to fix or question or interfere with your friend. You might indicate that you're listening well and nod and say yes or I hear you, or maybe sometimes repeat back what you hear. But you're just a really good listener, and that's all they need. And so with emotions, the mindfulness of emotions, we're trying to shift the orientation from any tendency we might have to be judging them, to be preferring one over the other, to be resistant to them, to kind of approach them as if they're a problem and I have to fix them. And if I just bring mindfulness to it, this difficult emotion will go away. The idea is to approach it more with the capacity to allow it to be there. And I use that word capacity very carefully. We're trying to increase our capacity to sense, feel, hear, see, whatever is happening without interfering with it. And by doing so, to be able to see it deeply, to hear it deeply, to feel it deeply, to see, so that it reveals something deeper about itself. And one of the simplest things it reveals is that it's some way or other is always changing. And to see it change makes it easier not to be kind of stuck around it and a fixed view or reaction to it. It's easier than maybe to allow it just to change, to unfold, give it room to do what it wants. So to increase capacity. So we'll begin this meditation with a small act of imagination, and then we'll go into this a little bit more deeply. So assume a meditation posture, and gently close your eyes. And before doing anything else, before taking some deep breaths and relaxing, spend a few moments feeling or listening deeply. What is here for you? How are you? And one way to increase the capacity to hold and be with whatever is here for you is to imagine that you're in a very, very large space, big cathedral-like room or a vast landscape. And whatever way you're feeling is clearly one part of a vastness all around. Maybe looking into the night sky, and you still feel just the way you're feeling, but the vastness of the night sky, it both highlights how you're feeling, and it's like there's a vast room for it to be just the way you are. To be quiet and still, spacious with how you are. As if awareness is the vast sky within which how you are is known. In the vast sky, nothing is a problem. It's just a piece of the whole. And then in the middle of it all, breathing in and breathing out. And as you exhale, to relax, soften the body. And then centering yourself on your breathing. The center of all things is breathing in and out. within a vast landscape of a spacious awareness of space. Maybe almost as if there's vast space in your own body. And the movements and sensations of breathing maybe are like a gentle wind coming and going. As you exhale, to relax the thinking muscle. Relax around thinking, calming the thinking mind. More often than not, there's a thinking mind which contracts us, narrows our identity, who we are, what's important. The more we're preoccupied and caught in our thoughts, the smaller the capacity is to be open and aware, non-reactively. And as we continue meditating, for a little while longer, center yourself on the breathing, but with your peripheral awareness, with a very light touch, not trying too hard. Peripheral awareness around, beyond the focus on breathing. Be aware of your body, maybe the weight of your body, the substantiality of your body. Without focusing on the body or thinking about it much, let it be a companion on the edges of peripheral awareness, on the edges of breathing. Where peripheral awareness provides more room for breathing to come and go, inhales and exhales. And now, take a few moments to recognize how you're feeling. What's your emotional state, mood, the state of your inner being? How more globally do you feel? And let there be lots of space for how you're feeling. Or maybe your central attention is being with your emotions, your mood, your state. Maybe breathing with it. But the peripheral awareness creates a vastness, a spaciousness, where it's easier just to allow the emotions to be there without reacting or doing anything about them, judging them or making commentary. Where, like a good friend, you're just listening or feeling or seeing the emotion for what it is, giving it permission to be there, finding an ability to give lots of space and room to how you feel without thinking about it or analyzing it or reacting to it. The task is to increase capacity to simply allow how you are to be there. And you listening or sensing, feeling how it is, how the emotion is, as if you're a friend for it. Where you're present for the sensations of breathing, of the emotion. How the emotion is expressed in the body. And for that, you make lots of room. If it's helpful for staying present with the emotion, breathe with the emotion. Breathe through it. Let breathing be in the middle of the emotion. And on the edges, vast space, openness. That allows your emotion to be there as it is. Checking in. How are you? Checking in without trying to disturb anything. Just to see and feel as if everything is allowed to be just the way it is, undisturbed. But you, seeing it, knowing it, as gently as the breathing might be as gentle as a gentle breeze of breathing. Making room for how you feel. And feeling it in the body, the sensations of your emotions. It's okay, let it be for these few moments. Breathing. There is freedom to be found, not by changing what's happening, but by changing our relationship to what's happening. And one of the ways that change can take is to know and be aware of what's happening in a spacious way, open way, listening deeply, listening with respect to all things, while not disturbing anything. And then as we come to the end of this meditation, without disturbing anything or thinking we have to do anything directly to anything, open your awareness wide, broad, vast like the sky, and become aware of the people of your life. Those you know, the neighbors you don't know, people on the streets, in places of commerce, work. And for a few moments to hold it spaciously, allowingly, without a mind that disturbs anyone with our judgments, our commentary, our preferences. Just aware. An awareness within which people are safe from us, safe from our judgments, safe from our fixing and condemning and pushing away or holding on. An awareness that helps people feel safe. And in that safety, in that capacity to hold people in our hearts, in our awareness, to wish them well, May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be free. And may we live together so in such a way that we all can be happy. We all can feel safe. We all can be peaceful. We all can be free. Thank you. So good morning, good day everyone, and welcome to this fourth talk on mindfulness of emotions. And one of the great skills to develop in relationship to our emotions and how we're feeling is to expand our capacity to feel. And partly that means, and a very powerful thing that it can mean, is expand our capacity to be uncomfortable. Much of our reactivity in life, challenges we have, is because something or other is making us feel uncomfortable, and so then we don't like it, we want to fix it, we want to blame someone, we get caught up in trying to do something about being uncomfortable. And that discomfort might be physical, it might also be emotional. And there's a lot of things which are emotionally uncomfortable. And to become wise and skillful with situations where we feel emotionally uncomfortable, one of the ways to find our way with that is to be able to allow ourselves to feel what we're feeling without reacting to it, without being pushed around by it or feel trapped by it or feel somehow like we have to do something because of it. And all of which is subsumed under the idea of increasing our capacity to feel our emotional life and without reactivity. This allows us then to be more reflective of what we do, to consider what's the wise thing to do in this situation. If we feel that we want to swear at someone because we feel pent-up anger or frustration, if we increase our capacity to feel frustration, then it doesn't have to be an automatic trigger to swear at someone. We just kind of, we rest, we open to what's happening for us, and then we can reflect, what would be the skillful thing to do? What would be the wise thing or the compassionate thing to do with this phenomena, with this what's happening here? And there might be, chances are there are better things to do than to swear at someone. Or we might shut down, we might collapse or pull in, and or kind of shrink away if something is uncomfortable. And it's certainly understandable we can feel threatened and challenged and want to do that. But there are also capacities to the ability to kind of stay open and feel afraid, but without being influenced by it. Just it's there, and we kind of are bigger than the fear. We have more space for it. And again, we can then be wiser about how we respond to the fear. Rather than shrinking, maybe we take 3, 10 steps back, and without having to diminish ourselves or shrink or collapse in some way. Or perhaps we can assess the danger more carefully and have a wise response while standing our ground with it. So these are all just kind of small examples that maybe you can fill in. But the idea is, whatever is happening, it doesn't have to just be discomfort. Some things feel really good. And sometimes it can be quite stressful to be overjoyed or feel delighted and feel happy. Or it's easy to kind of get swept away in it, and we lose ourselves in it. And lose our mindfulness, lose our presence, because we're so kind of swept away in the excitement of the moment. And it might be nothing wrong with that, but it's easy to make mistakes, to say the wrong things, to do some things which later we regret we did in the excitement of the moment. And it's a wonderful thing to open up to a capacity to feel our joy, not to diminish it, but to allow it to kind of live in us in a very different way than if we allow it to take over and get us activated around it. And there are times when it's the best thing we can do is to just hold the good feelings in this broad, open way, because there might be a deeper wellspring of responsivity that has a chance to surface if we don't act from the surface joy and the excitement of it all, but we open and relax and feel, oh, maybe there's love here, maybe there's generosity, maybe there's, being more inclusive of the other people involved, rather than caught up in our own excitement and joy and somehow lose track of the people around us. So the principle of increasing our capacity to feel our emotions without being reactive. That's kind of like one of the North Stars that we're working with when we're practicing with mindfulness of emotions. So one way to do that is to find something, a different way to be with emotions than the way we are when we get activated or reactivated by it. Very often what activates us around it is the story or the way we relate to it, the attitude we have towards it. And so to increase the capacity to hold an emotion, it helps to kind of sit quietly, like in meditation, breathe gently, be present, feel the motions in the body, and then take a look and see, what is your relationship to the emotion being there? Is your relationship, the way you're relating to it, the way you're reacting to it, is it making the space smaller? Is you getting narrower, contracted? Are you getting kind of caught up in it? Or are you able to relate to it more spaciously and openly, and for these few moments at least, allow it to be there, so there's an expansive quality of the heart, of the body, of the mind, of awareness, so that, oh, it's like this. And so part of the task of mindfulness of emotions is to notice, what is our relationship to the emotion? And this is not meant to be analysis. It's not meant to spend a lot of time thinking about it. It's just kind of asking yourself the question, and if nothing jumps out as being obvious, don't go looking for it. But sometimes you say, oh, of course, I don't like it. I'm trying to push it away, or I'm trying to fix it, or I'm trying to justify why I feel this way with the story. So if it's obvious, then see if you can expand and say, oh, it's just a story. It's just a way of relating to it. There's the emotion and the relationship to it. And then maybe it's easier to kind of drop in and feel the emotion by itself. And you can just make room for the emotion and feel it and allow it to be there. Another way of talking about expanding our capacity to feel emotions is expanding our, developing an ability to stay quiet and still with the emotion, to develop a capacity not to automatically act or automatically think to what's happening, but find a place of stability and quiet and stillness inside in meditation. In that stillness or that stability recognizes the emotion. Some people find that there's a kind of stability or a kind of stillness in the peripheral awareness. That so it's kind of like this is an analogy is that of a sight. We have central vision and we have peripheral vision. And when we look at something, we're engaging central vision. And but peripheral vision is kind of always there, and we can kind of tune into peripheral vision almost by not trying. We can't kind of turn our central vision to look at peripheral vision. We have to kind of relax and open and kind of just sense and feel without a central focus being predominant. Same way when we sit in mindfulness and just with our eyes closed and we're aware, there is a kind of peripheral awareness that is more kind of like peripheral vision, where we're not caught in it, we're not fixating on something, we're kind of spacious around it. We kind of allow it to be there. And in a kind of stillness of peripheral vision or non-reactivity of peripheral awareness. And so it's another way of then developing this capacity to be with emotions. In some emotions, it turns out that some of the wonderful emotions can become more wonderful when there's that space for it, and we don't get involved tinkering with it. And some of the difficult emotions, when there's space and this kind of awareness, tend to be deflated, tend to relax, because they tend to be there because of tension. And the very thing of not being involved takes away the tension that comes from involvement. So to increase the capacity to feel and be is one of the great skills we're trying to develop here in mindfulness. And it doesn't require getting rid of anything. It just requires a quiet way, peaceful way of staying present with this. It's a skill that we develop over time. So don't be in a hurry, but I hope that this teaching today about increasing your capacity is something now that is of interest for you, and you have a sense, oh yeah, maybe I could do it a little bit at a time, and let me experiment with this. And so, for example, as you go through your day, there might be times through the day that you're emotionally uncomfortable, or maybe emotionally excited in some good way, and you might spend maybe 3 breaths, maybe a minute. See, what would it mean now to expand my capacity, just allow this to be here with a spacious peripheral awareness, as if there's lots of room for me to be this way. If I have the ability to stay still and non-reactive, kind of inner stillness or stability, just to be with it and to feel it. And what happens if you do that for a minute? And maybe you want to start with emotions that are not really strong. Maybe there's medium emotions that you can experiment with, this capacity to expand, this ability to expand your capacity. And in the end, maybe what you learn is how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is a superpower. All kinds of things are available if you can do that are not available if you're reactive to being uncomfortable. So I hope that you have plenty of opportunities today to explore for a minute or two how to expand your ability, your capacity to be present for your emotions non-reactively, where you kind of become bigger and more expansive as you allow the emotion to be there. And maybe you do this incrementally, so don't have a high standard for what this looks like, but it's a skill that gets developed over time. So thank you. And we have one more talk tomorrow on this topic.